Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
What's going on, people? This is Influence. Welcome to another Throwback Thursday. It's been some time since I've done a Throwback Thursday, and here is the glorious. If you know, you know what this is. This is Toys to Life. Like there was a game, a Toys to Life game, and my son was obsessed with it, and I kind of was too. I didn't play it, but I watched him play it, and just the concept was so great. Basically it was toys, as you see. Put them on this base. There's a base. I don't have the base. I don't know where the base is. You stick them on the base and they come to life on your TV screen. So people that know, they already know what I'm talking about. Those that don't know may not know. Now there was an abundance of different ones. First there was Skylanders. Zoom in a little bit. So these were Skylanders. I don't know why he's backwards. And these were the first Toys to Life. They were different characters. I don't know where they came from. I don't know if it was comic book. My son put me on to them. He's like, I want the Skylanders. They came with a big base, and you stick these on it, and they were just like, it was just like a light up base, and you just stick it anywhere, and you can stick two characters, and they come to life. And they had different characters. I think this was cool. My son always liked dragons. Get this in focus. So yeah, I thought this was cool, but he has a bunch of them. I don't know where all the Skylanders are, but that was the beginning of Toys to Life. And then what came next? I'm not sure if Lego came next or Disney Infinity, but Disney Infinity, when it came, it took over. It took over here. But we can discuss Legos, because I want to discuss Disney Infinity last, because it has some of my favorite figures and was my favorite game. I actually did play that a little bit. So then you had the Legos. Well, not then. I think the Legos might have came after or at the same time as Disney Infinity, but they upped the game a little bit. It's dusty. I'm wiping dust off. They were in boxes. But you had, these are just a few. We had many Lego figures. And Lego, what I was saying, was up the ante, because they actually came in pieces and you had to build them, and then you could play. And they had different type of pieces. They had different bottoms, I think, you could put on and change them. You can change the figures. You can rebuild them. The actual base you had to build too, which was cool. And my son loved Lego, so he did all that. He played the game, built it. They had all the little dudes. I got like 50 of these guys. I don't know where. I mean, I know where they're at, but there's just too much to put on this table. Because then bust in the scene was Disney Infinity, and Disney Infinity had the makings to be something crazy, but it never panned out. The reason I say that is because they had so many properties. Of course, you know Marvel. They started pushing Marvel like heavy. Star Wars, they were pushing Star Wars. I think they came out in phases. They had the Incredibles. You see the Incredibles over there, right there. They had, of course, Star Wars. You see Star Wars. I got them all grouped mostly together. Then they had their other properties, which I think they brought out too late. They started bringing out the movie properties and some of their TV properties, like Monsters Inc. and I think that's Spyro the Dragon. I'm not sure, but you got Lilo and Stitch. You got Elsa. They started bringing out those. Toy Story. You can see, but they also, I got Star Wars back there. But they had, and it was crazy is they were bringing out characters like Venom. You see Venom right here, and back here they had Guardians of the Galaxy. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy movie was out, so that was good. But then they had Nova, like they had Nova and Spiderman, and that was kind of weird to me, because they didn't. I don't think. I mean, they weren't in any movies at the time, I don't believe. And I don't know if Marvel itself owned it, but I'm not sure if Disney owned it. I don't know. Maybe they struck the deal. That's weird. I just started thinking about it. they got Spider-Man and Venom, and this came out, I'm gonna have to look, I'm gonna put it on the screen, but I don't know if the deal was struck by then, so I'm not sure if they had some type of merchandising deal. Then you had the cards also you could collect with each figure. So if, you know, as a young person, I mean, I think my son, I mean, what they had little codes on there to get extra stuff. You know, my son must have been maybe 10 or 11 when this came out. I'm not 100% sure. But then this was the big boy right here, the base. I bought this base for him, and it came with all the original Avengers. And it had like a couple extra places to put other figures. So you see Spider-Man in there. So you had Black Widow. You had Thor. You had Hawkeye, the Hulk, Captain America. They actually came out with 2 Captain Americas. I actually like this Captain America. Pretty stoic. But they came out with this Captain America first. And I like this one too because it's like battle Captain America. And of course Iron Man, which Iron Man's figure is pretty nice. And these figures, looking at them, they were pretty solid, pretty nice figures. They look cool. They were let me show you Spider-Man. Then you had the Spider-Man figure. It's like on a brick. They all had like something like the ground or anything, whatever they would be on. Like these pieces of look like a rock or building or something. And it was cool. And also with this base, let me turn out the lights. This was it right here. Push this in and you see the ice. I think there's an ice giant. And then you could go like that and the whole thing lights up. Yo, this thing was the truth. And all the bases light up. Like it was cool. It was, you know, a display item. And if I can find room for it, I think I'm going to display it because I miss having this out somewhere. And you push it and it all went off. Toys to Life was kind of crazy. It was a great concept. I really wish they would have stuck with it, but I think they shot themselves in the foot somewhat because, for one, you had to buy every figure to play as. And I know with Disney Infinity, it was 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, I think. And I think they concentrated on, like, 1.0 was a couple characters. 2.0, I think, was Marvel, because that's when the Avengers came out and Marvel started popping. And I think 3.0 was Star Wars, or maybe Star Wars was first. I'm not sure. But it, like I said, and then they started bringing out the legacy characters. Like, they didn't have the legacy characters. I think that they brought out the legacy characters right in the beginning, it might have been a little better. Or if they had all the characters out, it was like hard to find, hard to get. You know, this base right here, I don't know where I found that, but I saw it and it came with all the figures. So I was like, hey, I'm getting this. It was like a Christmas gift for my son. And he was excited and he played it for a while. I even picked it up and started playing it. Also, the game wasn't as sandbox and open world. It's supposed to be that it was advertised as like an open world type of game that you just could do anything in and put any character in. In the beginning, it was not like that. Like, you couldn't combine characters. They had specific missions and stuff, specific things. You had these cards that you had to put to like kind of activate the game, whatever game it was. You also had to buy the game, the actual game with the base and all that. So that was extra money, like hand over fist. They was making money because these characters weren't cheap either. Yeah, I just think it had a lot of potential, but it also had a lot of downfalls that people just got tired of. Saying about the initial game not being like I couldn't put Iron Man on with Spider-Man and have them both pop up. You can only do that in what's called a sandbox, where you could do anything. It was like kind of boring. You had to build stuff and it took hours and hours, and like they really had you. And my son would do it. Like, he would build these worlds. I kind of wish I had the worlds now. I'm sure people are looking to play this, but yeah, the sandbox was cool because you could build whatever, you could do whatever, you could have all the characters at once on screen. But people, you know, people bought it to play as these characters all at once. And this is kind of like the only Marvel game. It was actually better than, to me, the Marvel Avengers now. Like, once you got in the city and you played as one of these, like, they had all their powers, you could use them. It was cartoonish. I wish it was, if it had better graphics, it probably would have did better with an older crowd as well. You know, not judging anybody that did play it that was older, because I know gamers are gamers. At the same time, I think a certain type of gamer wouldn't play this because of the way it looked. It did look kind of cartoonish, and it kind of steered me away because I like more real world games. I like open world games, but you know, I'm used to playing stuff like GTA and Red Dead Redemption and things like that that are like open world. I didn't need it to be adult, but I just needed it to be a little bit more robust for my taste. So I think that's another downfall. They probably updated it and did some more. I don't know if they still, I don't think there's any support for it. I'm sure it's still, maybe the servers are still on. I don't even know if it was online. I can't remember. But yeah, this was Toys to Life video games. And I saw one of these figures and I just started thinking about it. And I'm like, let me look through the bins and see, because it has to be here. Because when we moved, before we moved, he had them all set up like in his room. And you know, when we moved to the new house, that was 4 years ago when he had it set up. It was almost 3 years ago since we moved. Well, I said almost 3 years ago. It has been 3 years ago in May. So he probably hasn't seen these since, because when we moved, it just didn't do anything with him. He wasn't worried about it. He was playing other games. So all right, so thanks for joining me for this Throwback Thursday, the Toys to Life edition. Leave me comments. I'll like to respond if y'all have fond memories of the Toys for Life, or if you just want to leave me anything. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll get over with you another one.
Life ain't over. Life ain't over. Life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want it.